What's up, everyone? A couple weeks ago, I made a video about my aquarium, showing off my Black Friday haul. Showing you my new plants and fish and accessories I got, like the canister filter over there. So for a while, I've been playing around with do-it-yourself CO2. I started off with just the regular soda bottle and the yeast and the sugar and all that kind of stuff. And that was kind of fun. And then I sort of graduated, if you will, to the citric acid baking soda method. This little doohickey costs like $15. It's not bad. It's pretty impressive the way that it works. Citric acid goes in here, baking soda goes in there. You squeeze some of the citric acid over in here to create the chemical reaction, and you get some back pressure, and yada yada yada. It's pretty cool. I had a few leaks that I really had a difficult time fixing, and so I was losing a lot of pressure there. And really, I was just buying so much citric acid and changing this whole system out like every 5 days or so, and that was just a huge pain in the butt. So, while I think it's definitely neat and some pretty clever, technology, I guess you could say, it gets really frustrating after a while. So kudos to you guys that use that and have great results with it. More power to you. I just got kind of frustrated with it, and with me spending so much time away from my house, I needed something that was just a little more reliable and didn't require as much daily attention. So upgraded to the 5-pound CO2 cylinder, and I just got this new CO2 regulator by SR Aquaristik. I actually found them on eBay. They do have their own website, but they sell most of their stuff, I guess, through eBay. So I thought, what the hell, couldn't really find too many reviews about it. Decided, whatever, I'll try it, right? So far, I like it. It did come in this box. This box was actually inside of another box, so I'm really impressed with the quality of the packaging. I kind of jumped the gun and was really excited to get it set up, so this isn't a full unboxing. You can just see, like, bubble counter was there. You even got these little holes over there where you can pinch it and grab it. Regulator was there. Solenoid and all that good stuff was over here. So just really, really secure packaging. Really appreciate that from them. So, because it really sucks when you get stuff in the mail and it's broken or whatever. I've had that with Amazon a couple times. So I just have this set up over here just so you guys can see it. Otherwise, it'll probably be on the floor over there. So far, so good. I'm pretty new to this whole thing. Don't really know what's going on as far as like these different gauges and stuff like that. I gotta educate myself a little bit about what this all means. But as you can see, getting consistent flow rate. I've been playing around with that a little bit to see what I like. Needle valve is not that sensitive. I mean, it's sensitive enough to where you change it and you see the change, but it's not like if you just bump it, it changes it. So I know that's a big complaint that people have with the Aquatex. It's almost impossible to dial in that precise bubble rate that you want. But this one's pretty good. You got a little solenoid action over there, so I'm going to hook this up with a timer. That way, the CO2 shuts off at night. I'm not wasting CO2. Let me get in here real quick. Yeah, there's a little LED light on there. Super cool. Lets you know. You can just pop your head in your room and see, oh, okay, lights on. Everything's working. The solenoid shuts off if you lose power. So, if you go in your room and the lights off, you're not getting CO2. So, so originally their eBay listing said that this was a dual stage regulator. I thought that was a little bit suspicious for $89. I mean, if you just look at Greenleaf Aquariums, their dual stage regulators are like, I think the cheapest one was like $150. This was $89. So I emailed them saying, I'm a little suspicious that you have a dual stage regulator for $89. And it was supposedly the owner emailing me back, said, let me look into that for you. I also asked him if he had ever heard of this regulator having problems with end of tank dump, and he states that he's been in the aquarium business for over 20 years and has never heard of end of tank dump. So that's a little suspicious. But regardless, he got back to me and said the eBay listing was incorrect. This is a single stage regulator. And so I got this in the mail, and my invoice says dual stage regulator. So I'm going to have to investigate that a little bit. Either the owner of the company, his initials are SR, Steve something, either he is like hugely incompetent, or someone within his company is like has no clue what they're doing. They're just like some minimum wage worker that just sees two gauges and thinks that means dual stage. So who knows? Maybe it is dual stage, and I just got a wicked good deal on it. So anyway, CO2. There's definitely some startup costs. This was $89. Tank free fill. The tank was a little like on sale for $65, and it comes filled. So kind of pricey, but I just love the fact that I'm not mixing ingredients. I'm not measuring. I'm not waiting for a chemical reaction or anything like that. I just plugged it in, made sure everything was secure. Opened the valve, and bam, just a consistent flow rate. Electronic solenoid. Just set it up and forget about it, and just check on it every once in a while. So this is not really like a full review, just more of like an initial hey, I bought this thing. This is what's going on. We'll see what happens. People say you get what you pay for, and hopefully I got myself a decent regulator. So if you have any experience with SR Aquaristik gear, I'd definitely love to hear your comments. Let me know what you think. Any tips, suggestions, advice for pressurized CO2, I'd love to hear it. And like I said, obviously that cord's not going to be there. I got to shorten it a little bit, and that will be probably down there, kind of out of the way, a little bit more discreet. I just moved that up there so you guys could see it. So tank's going well. Everything's been pretty happy, even with that little CO2 system and some nutrients and whatnot. So everything's, like I said, pretty happy. This Ammania, gracilis, or whatever, it was starting to melt and die off a little bit, but it's coming back. I got some new growth, and I'm excited to see what that looks like. It's got a nice red color to it. Just topped off my Ludwigia repens or whatever, and the stuff is out of control. See all those aerial roots back there? It's kind of hideous, but the plants are happy. Look at those. I cut those off the top. They just have a beautiful red color. The plants were like all the way like out of the water. Just the stuff is just growing like it's like growing like a weed. And speaking of which, weeds, I did something maybe a little bit stupid. I saw some duckweed, while I was hiking, and I know duckweed's pretty invasive, I guess, in aquariums, but I was reading online about its water purification properties, and I thought, what the hell? I grabbed a handful, brought it home, washed it in some of my chlorinated tap water, and let it soak in the tap water for a little while, and then transferred it to my aquarium. I don't want to put any like critters in my aquarium, but I don't know. Maybe if I get some bigger fish on the road. I've heard some fish love to snack on it. It's high in protein, but I just wanted to throw it in my tank and help combat algae. Figured I'd rather have this growing on top than nasty algae somewhere. And whatever this is, a bacopa, or I don't even remember anymore. That stuff has just exploded. When I first bought it, it was like this tall, and as you can see, it's already reaching the top of the tank. And I think I just saw my ghost shrimp. Yep, there he is. Probably not gonna be able to focus on him, but he's happy as a clam running around, part of my cleanup crew. So anyway, that's what's going on with my aquarium. Let me know what you guys think of it. Sorry for the long video, but I'm just excited. Got a lot of cool stuff going on. And once again, SR Aquaristik. I'll be letting you guys know in a couple weeks what I think of it. And of course, if you like what I'm doing, you like my tank, you want to see the progression of my tank and know what's see what's going on, just hit the like button, hit subscribe, and that way you can kind of be a part of my little my journey here with my aquarium. All right, thanks guys for watching.